Today is Saturday, June 6th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we're on Chapter 10. We're on Two Employers, page 141. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Tradition 7. I believe we're finishing up that chapter today, page 164. And of course, read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection as my dog digs to China over there on the couch. So I hope y'all are doing well this morning, my friends. Life is good over here. Got another cup of coffee in a different Hulk Hogan cup. I think I told you about the one yesterday. So this one is a Zombie Mania cup, and it's Hulk Hogan as a zombie in the moonlight, tearing off his... It's kind of gross. You know how he normally tears off his shirt? Well, he's tearing off his flesh here. But I love wrestling. I love horror movies. So I was... And this stop was probably a once-in-a-lifetime kind of stop going to this store. So I had to pull the trigger. But anyway, the coffee's great. What a blessing it is to wake up this morning sober. And let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So in Two Employers, we are on page 141. And we've been talking about letting go of some of the prejudices that we might have had of alcoholics, and letting go of the idea that, you know, these people cannot be saved, that they cannot recover, because it is possible, obviously, that they can. So with that, we're on 141. This is not to say that all alcoholics are honest and upright when not drinking. Of course that isn't so. And such people often may impose on you. Seeing your attempt to understand and help, some men will try to take advantage of your kindness. If you're sure that your man does not want to stop, he may as well be discharged. The sooner the better. You're not doing him a favor by keeping him on. Firing such an individual may prove a blessing to him. It may be just the jolt that he needs. I know in my own particular case that nothing my company could have done would have stopped me. For so long as I was able to hold my position, I could not possibly realize how serious my situation was. Had they hired me first, and had they taken the steps to see that I was presented with the solution contained in this book, I might have returned to them 6 months later a well man. But there are many men who want to stop, and with them you can go far. Your understanding treatment of their cases will pay dividends. Perhaps you have such a man in mind. He wants to quit drinking and you want to help him, even if it be only a matter of good business. You now know more about alcoholism. You can see that he is mentally and physically sick. You are willing to overlook his past performances. Such an approach is made something like this. State that you know about his drinking and that it must stop. You might say you appreciate his abilities, would like to keep him, but cannot if he continues to drink. A firm attitude at this point has helped many of us. At the 12 and 12, we're on Tradition 7. Every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. And yesterday we finished up with a story about how Bill was giving $5 to a friend of his who had a hangover, which was a lot of money back in those days. But yet he was being really cheap during the group meeting. And the group meeting struggling. So he finally realizes, you know what? The best use of my money would be to keep this group alive, which can help more people. And then we are presented with another story where a certain group has inherited $10,000. So let's see what happens next. We're on 164, and tomorrow, I apologize, tomorrow we will finish the chapter. What a debate we had on that one. The foundation was really hard up just then. The groups weren't sending in enough support for the office. We've been tossing in all the book income, and even that hadn't been enough. The reserve was melting like snow in springtime. We needed that $10,000. Maybe, some said, the groups will never fully support the office. We can't let it shut down. It's far too vital. Yes, let's take the money. Let's take all such donations in the future. We're going to need them. Then came the opposition. They pointed out that the foundation board already knew of a total of $500,000 set aside for AA in the wills of people still alive. Heaven only knew how much there was that we hadn't heard about. If outside donations weren't declined, absolutely cut off, then the foundation would one day become rich. Moreover, at the slightest intimation to the general public from our trustees that we needed money, we could become immensely rich. Compared to this prospect, the $10,000 under consideration wasn't much. But like the alcoholic's first drink, it would, if taken, inevitably set up a disastrous chain reaction. Where would that land us? Whoever pays the piper is apt to call the tune. And if the AA Foundation obtained money from outside sources, its trustees might be tempted to run things without reference to the wishes of AA as a whole. Relieved of responsibility, every alcoholic would shrug and say, "Oh, the foundation's wealthy. Why should I bother?" The pressure of that fat treasury would surely tempt the board to invent all kinds of schemes to do good with such funds, and so divert AA from its primary purpose. The moment that happened, our fellowship's confidence would be shaken. The board would be isolated and would fall under heavy attack of criticism for both AA and the public. These were the possibilities, pro and con. "24 hours a day, June 6th. AA thought for the day. Drinking is the way we alcoholics express our maladjustments to life. I believed that I was a potential alcoholic from the start. I had an inferiority complex. I didn't make friends easily. There was a wall between me and other people, and I was lonely. I was not well adjusted to life. Did I drink to escape from myself? Meditation for the day. According to the varying needs of each person, so does each person think of God. It is not necessary that you think of God as others think of Him, but it is necessary that you think of Him as supplying what you personally need. The weak need God's strength. The strong need God's tenderness. The tempted and fallen need God's saving grace. The righteous need God's pity for sinners. The lonely need God as a friend. The fighters for righteousness need a leader in God. You may think of God in any way you wish. We usually do not turn to God until we need Him. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may think of God as supplying my needs. I pray that I will bring all my problems to Him for help in meeting them. Daily Reflection, June 6th. All we do is try. Can He now take them all? Everyone? Alcoholics Anonymous, page 76. In doing step 6, it helped me a lot to remember that I am striving for spiritual progress. Some of my character defects may be with me for the rest of my life, but most have been toned down or eliminated. All that step 6 asks of me is to become willing to name my defects, claim them as my own, and be willing to discard the ones that I can, just for today. As I grow in the program, many of my defects become more objectionable to me than previously, and therefore, I need to repeat step 6 so that I can become happier with myself and maintain my serenity. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading and some beautiful stuff. I love the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. Yeah, drinking is the way that we alcoholics express our maladjustments to life. I drank for a while because that seemed to be the solution, man. That was the missing piece. But the irony is, from the earliest days that I drank, I didn't realize it, but I might have been drinking alcoholically. First time I ever drank, I was at a prom, and I remember they were mixing a certain drink with orange soda, and I remember just slamming them down, not really feeling anything, and then boom, it hit me. And of course I got sick, and it was terrible, right? So I swore off, right? Like I'm not drinking anymore. This is terrible, way overrated. And then a few months later, I remember being in my dad's basement while he was in the hospital. And the irony is that I found out why he was in the hospital a little bit later. He had some heart issues, and yes, he was a big smoker, but they said that it was actually the drinking that might have affected him more. And yet here I was in his basement. I find a bottle of whiskey, and I'm listening to music, and I take a drink. Feeling a little bit sorry for myself, feeling sad about Dad. And the drinking in my mind made me feel better. Drinking is the way that we alcoholics express our maladjustments to life. Right here, I believed that I was a potential alcoholic from the start. Yeah, this was me. I had an inferiority complex. During that same night, even though I blacked out later and I don't remember much else, but I remember sitting in my dad's basement. My dad was in the hospital. I didn't have my license then. I'm half drunk, and I'm sitting between the middle of the basement and the laundry room. There's this little stoop. I'm sitting there, and I'm praying to a God I don't even believe in at the time, or wasn't sure I believed in. God, please give me more time with my dad. And talking about grace, he did. I remember thinking when I saw Dad hooked up to the respirator and how much weight he'd lost and how feeble he looked in the hospital bed. I remember my stepsister, she was older than me. She said, "Rob, you don't want to see him. He looks really bad." She almost talked me out of seeing him. And I felt I had to go see him. And I saw him on the hospital bed, and I held his hand, and I told him I loved him. And I was hoping that he could hear me. And I said goodbye just in case. And like I said, I don't remember if it was before or after when I prayed that half-drunken prayer. But my higher power gave me more time. 13 or 14 more years, as a matter of fact. With a lot of good memories in between. I wish that I was sober before he passed. He passed in 2015. But I had to experience about 3 more years of pain before I finally surrendered. But I love to carry on his legacy. And I love to brag on my higher power because it says right here, the weak need God's strength. If we want to talk about God's grace, we can find grace in everything, not just the good. God can use the pain in my life as an opportunity for healing. So, specific example, I try to talk to my dad about God during my alcoholism. And I remember him saying to me, "Rob, you've always been in and out. I don't know what I think about all that stuff." This is back in 2015. When he said that really bothered me, that I'd always been in and out. Because he was looking at my life and he saw some inconsistencies. And as badly as that hurt at the time, that did force me to look back on my life and say, you know what? I can't hold on to the world and my higher power at the same time. I've got to make a choice in some things. Am I going to choose righteousness today? Or am I going to choose selfishness? It's a powerful lesson right there, you know? Now, I do believe that my dad did believe in a higher power. And I do believe that even in my alcoholism, my dad and I had a very close relationship. And we had a lot more good times than bad. And I do believe that one day, somehow, this is just Robology, I'll see my dad again. And I'm going to give him a big old hug. And in the meantime, I tell funny dad stories all the time. And I thank my higher power because he blessed me with a man that wasn't my biological father that helped raise me. And I'm a mama's boy too. I could brag on my mom all day long too. And maybe I will here soon. But talking about God's grace, the fact that I'm sober today and I have a big old smile on my face talking about my parents at about 4 a.m. So anyways, my friends, I've rambled on way over. I hope you all have a great one today. And if we are given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.